How do I get rid of the sides, by the way? I don't know how to do that. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. We're live, finally. Sorry about all the delays. Internet connection just now, but besides that, it's my son's culmination today. And I thought it was from 8 to 9:30, but those officials with their speeches, it went on and on and on, and you can't take off. So I have a lot to go through. Obviously, I had a segment way before what happened today on GameStop. Well, last night it started actually after hours, and then it ended up with 640,000 bag holders. This is what happens. This is what happens when you think the second time around is going to work again, and it didn't work. So I'm trying to figure out Chris, how do I do that? How do I get rid of these sides? I'm not sure. Anyway, no big deal. Roaring Kitty's a moron. I have a lot to say about that. I wouldn't call people names yet, but I have a lot to say about what happened. I didn't watch the live stream. My friends were texting me. I was like, "Are you watching this?" I goes, "No, I'm at my son's school." I didn't think it would be worth watching. I think it was high, but I have a whole segment on that. We'll go through it. We'll talk about it. But then, final words: is it GameStop or game over? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out how this is all going to get resolved. So welcome to Power Hour Friday. It's only one edition now, as opposed to two. We're going to do it on Fridays only. I'm still trying to figure out how to get rid of the sides, but I don't know how. Is it in the settings? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Whatever. No big deal. So welcome. How many of you are here? About 6. Yeah. The hour is all messed up. I messed you guys up as well, but unforeseen circumstances. So I'm going to go through my topics for our other content, and then we'll talk about GameStop when the time comes. Hopefully more of you will join. Yeah, FFIE, another one. Yeah, we can talk about FFIE as well. Look, man, there is no shorts in FFIE. You easily can figure that out, but I'll answer the questions later. So welcome. So with that said, let's go. Through some business. So Power Hour only on Fridays. Please spread the news. I have a website now, www.sergioavidian.com. I'm going to start sending out free newsletters to subscribers. So please go subscribe. It's at www.sergioavidian.com. And obviously, it's going to be about finance. I'm thinking of doing one every week to 10 days. And once you subscribe, you'll get the free newsletter in your inbox. I have plans. Unlike Roaring Kitty, I have plans. So that's one. Two, please, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please spread the word. Channel is growing slowly, which is expected, but from what I saw, a few minutes of that live stream with 642,000 people watching live, to I think thousands of people should be watching me live as opposed to 642,000 bag holders over there. But to me, important thing is I want to keep doing it. I'm going to continue. I'm going to expand. That's why we did the website. So you can get a free newsletter, at least out of it. And YouTube channel obviously is free. I'm not doing it for YouTube money. I'm really not. YouTube money is garbage money. There's no money. It's worse than YouTube algorithm is unknown to anybody anyway. But education is key. Shared with you guys my trading account last Friday. If you didn't watch that, please go watch last Friday's Power Hour. Actually, I put it on Monday. And I, in detail, showed you guys, unlike all these jokers on YouTube, look, I made 4 million, 10 million, whatever. I'm not in it for instant gratification, adrenaline rush. I'm in it to sustained money-making operation as opposed to sprint. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon for me. So anyway, hold on to your horses on GameStop. The only thing I can say is I feel very bad for hundreds of thousands of hardworking people who followed this village idiot and did it. And but guess what? Wall Street is not stupid. Wall Street was ready this time, and I will get into the details of what was going on that was completely different than the first time. And I mean, trees don't grow to the sky. I said that a million times already. So I'm sad for all the people who were counting their money and thinking of buying Lamborghinis last night when the stock was 65 after hours. And I'll have a lot to say about that. So let's go into the topics. I have 4 or 5 topics that I'm going to talk about, which are, I think, more important than a GameStop. GameStop is a casino. Let's just stay out of the casino. We know who wins in a casino. The house wins always. So my first topic that I'm going to talk to you guys about is going to be hold on one second. Okay, so first topic is going to be NVDA, another moonshot. Unlike unlike GameStop, NVIDIA has something going for themselves. It's a company that is alive, and I mean, amazing company. If you invested in this company, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, this is why it's called an investment. It's not called gambling, although it's getting a little out of control, which I will touch upon in a minute. So this week, NVIDIA passed Apple in market cap. It hit $3 trillion worth of market cap. Last week, I said, it's worth more than all the stocks on the Deutsche Börse, which is the German stock market. Is it? Should it be? It's not my call. I trade what I see. The trend has been up. There is nothing more, nothing less to say about this. There are a lot of people who are talking about tulip mania, this and that. I just trade what market gives me. Market's telling me that NVIDIA is going higher, and it has. I mean, what else is there to say? The fact that this company has passed Apple as the second 3 trillion club is absolutely mind-boggling, and the speed it has done it in. But it is what it is. Price doesn't lie. I mean, price takes precedence for me anyway. Price is what we all need to follow. I mean, there is a buyer and a seller. The price is always right, and whatever the market is telling you, the price is the price. So don't argue with it. It is what it is. And stock 3 trillion market cap, great. Is it worth this? Not my call. I'm a technical trader, and the trend is up. And every pullback is being bought as it should be because the trend is up. So, but going to my buddy in Germany, Holger, I call him. I have a part of the show that I call it. I'm going to do every week, every Friday. Call it Holger's Corner. He's a award-winning journalist from Germany, and every morning I follow him on Twitter. You guys should follow me on Twitter. I'm pretty active at Sergio Aved. It should be in the show notes. And he says like this: "Good morning from Germany. Good morning, Holger." And this continues. This is not his corner subject yet, but this is continues with NVIDIA. I talked about this. So Germany's all of stocks in Germany are 2.5 trillion. NVIDIA's value 2.62, but it broke 3 trillion this week. I mean, Think about it. One single US stock worth more all the public companies in Germany. Interesting, right? And this was his tweet about Nvidia. He says, to put things in perspective, the market cap per employee of Nvidia has hit almost $100 million. Think about it, people. I mean, Nvidia, obviously, amazing company. Each employee is worth $100 million. Awesome. I mean, hey, what is there to say? I think stock is going through a split. So a lot of people, by the way, this last $200 push came not because of the good earnings that they displayed, but also they announced a 10-for-1 split. So there's this mania now, and I'm going to show you guys what happens after the split. Actually, to these stocks, Tesla had gone through that. We know about what happened to Tesla now. Look, split is meaningless. All it's doing is there's going to be 10. If you had one share of Nvidia in your account, it's going to replace with 10 shares, but the price is going to be divided by 10. So splits don't do anything to the stock's fundamentals. Nothing. The CEO is the same, earnings are the same. They're all just going to get divided by 10. So the prices anyway. And they're going to have 10 times more shares out there. And what it's going to do is that it's going to actually reduce volatility. It may allow, small retail traders to participate, but at this price, at 1,200 divided by 10, stock is going to be 120 per share. Is it going to be more affordable for the retail to get in? I mean, if the retail is not in by now, I think they're a little too late. But splits should not affect the price of the stock. Unfortunately, with our gambling mentality over the last 5 years, since the pandemic days, every time somebody announces a split, stock takes off. No reason whatsoever. But then there is a mean line on these, and it will pull back to its mean line. But again, amazing ride. Doesn't have pullbacks. Yes, it does. But for the last, I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years, it's been an absolute machine. It's been an absolute winner. And they are obviously, benefiting from the AI boom that we're experiencing. They make the best GPUs on the planet, and justifiably so, which go into servers. Kudos to NVIDIA. Kudos to the management team. Kudos to all those employees who are worth $100 million a pop. I have nothing more to say other than my hat's off to the management. My hat's off to, see, this is investing. This is not gambling, right? Although the chart looks a little parabolic, but again, there is a company that is making money, that's printing money basically, unlike Game Over there, right? And we're going to talk about that in detail. He was talking, Holger, my buddy, was talking about the $3 trillion club, right? Third member of the $3 trillion market club. As AI steams ahead, stock rallied 147% this year. We're only like start of June, adding about 1.8 trillion in market cap. And so we have three companies, Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA now in the 3 trillion club. And wonderful. I couldn't be happier for the shareholders. And I don't know, will it continue? But if the market shows me that it's not, then I'll act on it. But at the moment, nothing else to say. Hats off to NVIDIA. So I'm going to pass this real quick because I want to do the other topics, because I want to do this as the last topic because it's probably going to be a lengthy one. I had my screenshots ready. This is the Village Idiot that 642,000 people were watching. But so let me talk about this. This is where I was actually. This is my son's school, the culmination. The speakers are making the speeches. He got his diploma and he's off into the summer. And I love him to death. He's a great kid, always a smile on his face. Nothing gets him down. I get emotional talking about him. He's a great soccer player. His dream is to be a professional, and I'm going to support him in everything I can for him to do that. The odds are very long, but, why are we here as parents, right? Support. And why am I doing this channel? Support. I mean, I don't need to do it. Honestly, I don't. But I love teaching, and he's 14 and a half, 15 now. He's becoming a man. I can see the change in his body, his voice. A little bit of fuzz is coming now. He's paying more attention to girls. We're having birds and bees talk probably every once a week because he's a handsome little devil. Um, you know, Trying to stop him from making the mistakes I made. But congrats to my son. Love him to death. He's the man. And, he's the future of this country. And I feel, actually, I'm not going to say it. Nah, I'm going to say it. I feel bad for their future, what the people in Washington and the Federal Reserve are doing to their future, but that's for another topic. So that's where I was. So, and the market's making new highs, people. And the ECB yesterday, European Central Bank, cut rates. All the stock markets are at an all-time high, making new all-time highs. And now there is talk that they're going to lower rates. I have never seen this before in my 30-plus year career. Okay. Why have I not seen this? You usually get rate cuts when you go in a recession because that's the gas that the Fed needs to put on to create economic activity to get us out of recession. Well, I think Wall Street and everybody and their uncle is believing or has believed, that's why the market is making new highs every single day, that the Fed has somehow, the verdict's not in yet, but somehow has managed this soft landing, which is another lingo for saying low inflation, good GDP, and low unemployment. So the Wall Street has bought it. The market's all again today making new all-time highs. So Wall Street is in. The risks are higher though now in case there is no soft landing. Am I a believer in the market soft landing? You guys need to study history on this, which I do quite often. Go back and see how many soft landings the Fed has been able to accomplish. You can count it in less than two fingers. So, but now, of course, every talking head on CNBC is coming out and saying, "Yeah, soft landing is done, right? We're here. It finally looks like okay." Well, we have a saying on Wall Street, right? Buy it on rumor, sell it on fact. Now that soft landing has been supposedly accomplished, why does the market keep going higher? But think about this. My concern is inflation actually is not dead. The numbers they're putting out are hocus pocus completely, right? And we're all experiencing that. We're all living. We're all buying things, and we're all seeing it. Has anything since the pandemic that has gone up 20, 30, 40% that you're buying, has it gone back to where it was? No. That's why, by the way, the stocks are going up, because the stock market is almost an inflation hedge, because these companies that you deal with on a daily basis can raise prices on you guys, on the consumer, and they somehow never bring it back to where it used to be. And that's their additional profit margin. That's the earnings power. That's why the market keeps going higher, right? And, I don't think it's about the soft landing. But the risk for all this is that inflation is not dead. We had the same situation happen in 1978. They called inflation dead, and then the second time inflation came around, absolutely wiped the market out. But is it going to be the same? I'm not sure. Again, I look at the trend. The trend is up. You don't need to pick tops. You don't question it. You just step toe in and out. So U.S. economic data points to a soft landing as the labor market and inflation gradually cool. Yes, correct. But then that's the government's inflation numbers. Do you guys believe it? Do you guys believe any of the numbers government puts out on unemployment and inflation? I don't, because you guys need to study it. I'm not against the government, but I do not believe a word these people say. But then, again, price takes precedent. Market is telling you something. Listen to the market. Market's always right. You have a price in front of you. There's a transaction happening at that price. That price is correct for that minute, for that millisecond anyway. Until recently, those two forces were holding back a soft landing narrative. Okay. And the US seems on track for lower price growth without a recession. Okay. We're not in a recession, obviously, technically, okay? But in your own lives, you may be in a recession because of inflation, because of high cost of living that you guys are experiencing in your cities. But Wall Street says no. Wall Street says the best and the brightest on Wall Street, such as David Kelly of JP Morgan, who I respect, obviously. He has a position that not too many people have. And he was talking about it the other day. He was like, but then all these cheerleaders that come after the fact, they go like, to me, soft landing is when the unemployment rate has basically hit its full employment level, which we hit at like 3.5%. And the inflation rate is gradually coming down, which according to the Fed, it is. With this Friday's job report, which came out today, we expect 30th consecutive month in which the unemployment rate is at or below 4. While today the unemployment rate came out, it was at 4, right? And the plane, he said the plane basically had landed. The Fed has managed to soft land the plane or the economy, and we're off to the races. And there is even talk now that the Fed is going to cut rates. None of this is making sense to me. But then the book keeps getting changed. I have to learn. I have to adjust. I have to adapt. Why are we cutting rates when the market's at an all-time high? Fed never cuts rates when there is no trouble ahead. So if they do cut rates here, two things are going to happen. Inflation is going to come back. My opinion, again, this is not financial advice. This is my economic theory. Inflation will come back and rates will go up, and that's when the market's going to absolutely eat it. When is that going to happen? This year, next year? I don't know. But again, trend is your friend. Don't question it. So that's my second topic. I talked about this last week, and I'm going to keep talking about this because this is an important issue. And last week I said China dumped $50 billion in U.S. treasuries. They keep doing it and buying gold. Why are they doing that? So I guess the Chinese are not believing the IOUs that we're sending them constantly. And, they're accumulating gold. They're accumulating hard assets. They must not think inflation is over, because why would you accumulate gold as an inflation hedge if you think inflation is dead? And why are you selling your treasuries, right? Well, they're selling the treasuries to retaliate probably to our sanctions that we put on their EV manufacturers and solar panel manufacturers. But China used to be the largest holder of the U.S. treasuries at 1.4 trillion. Now they're down to about 750 billion. We talked about the deficit. The deficit is taken care of by issuing IOUs around the globe, right? And so they keep reducing, and this is on the right-hand screenshot. You guys see the chart. They keep reducing the holdings of their treasury securities, and they're going to keep doing it. Now, the problem that creates is this, okay, for the Fed. If the fiscal policy in Washington was correct, and we weren't creating $1 trillion or adding $1 trillion every 100 days to our deficit, 1 trillion, people, think about this. The only way they can get financed, the deficit, is by issuing IOUs, treasury bonds, notes, 2 years, 10-year, 30-year, short-term bills, which the Fed has to constantly issue. Well, when they issue those, somebody has to be the buyer of these goods, these IOUs. So China is selling it. China doesn't want dollar-denominated bonds anymore. They're investing in gold. Okay. So who's going to buy it? If your largest bondholder is selling, so they're not interested in buying. Because what they have figured is that, so imagine this. I'm Chinese government. I have a massive trade deficit with the U.S., close to $500 billion a year, year after year. So what do? I take the money and I buy U.S. treasuries. So I own, the IOUs. But most of these treasuries are long-term. They're 30 years, 20 years, 30 years long, right? You have to hold them to maturity, because when interest rates fluctuate, these bonds in nominal value will fluctuate as well. So, but what is happening is that we've been pumping so much money that the value of that fiat currency that they're holding, which is in U.S. treasuries, by the time the maturity comes in 30 years, each bond is $1,000, right? And every year that dollar is losing about 5 to 7% of its value, okay? So take 5 to 7% a year of loss in fiat currency value. and the maturity comes in 30 years, basically that bond is worthless, right? You're getting something, you're getting $1,000 per each bond that you bought, but then what you can buy that day, the buying power of that is useless, is nothing. So China figured this out, saying that, hold on a second, these people are not putting their house in order. They're not. They have a fiscal policy that is absolutely garbage, and then the monetary policy has to follow the fiscal policy. So they're not buyers. Okay, who are we going to sell them to? To the U.S. corporate, right, and to around the world. I mean, Japanese right now are the largest, actually, U.S. Treasury holdings on the planet, about 1.3 trillion, if I'm not mistaken, and other countries, right? But we have to finance a budget deficit of $1.5 trillion every single year. So we have to issue another $1.5 trillion of IOUs. Somebody has to buy these. Are the Saudis? Is it the only reason we can do this, by the way, is because the dollar is still considered the world currency, right? I'm not going to say the chosen currency. The Chinese don't think so. They're replacing their dollars with gold. That's the reserve currency of the world, right? And until that changes, if that changes, watch out. We're in huge trouble. But is it going to change? Probably not. So this gentleman actually hit the nail on the head on this problem. The problem is the Fed is out of market right now. So meaning there is a QE and QT. QE is quantitative easing, which is what they did during the pandemic. And it happens by the Federal Reserve lowering their balance sheet, which was up to $9 trillion, and now it's down to probably $7.5 trillion. So they're not the buyer of these bonds either. So who is buying these bonds? They have to issue these, right? Okay. So here's the problem. The central bank is allowing treasuries to roll off its balance sheet with a quantitative tightening, which I've talked about. So if the biggest player in the domestic treasury market, which is the Federal Reserve, and the second largest player in the foreign treasury market are selling bonds, which is treasuries, actually the only way they can reduce the balance sheet is by selling bonds, getting rid of their bonds or whatever, mortgage-backed securities, whatever they're holding. So they're sellers. Chinese are sellers, right? Who's buying these? Somebody has to buy it. Well, in order for them to be able to buy this, right, you have to appease the investor that's going to put their money into this. So that means you may have to offer higher interest rates to make it attractive, because inflation is eating into this every single year, right? So, I mean, this is a great point here. He raises a great point. So one of the reasons Treasury yields continue to climb, although they're coming down now a little bit for the past week, despite hopes of a Federal Reserve rate cut. Well, the reason for that is the buyers of these bonds are requiring higher returns on their money. When they're going to give you the money on an IOU, they go, what is the bond today? It's 450. I'm like, no, I want 470. So the auction goes at 470. So that's the Fed's, catch 22 here. They need to sell these bonds, but then the buyers are requiring higher rates, right? So China's treasury dump underscores a big problem for the U.S. Treasury. I agree. The federal government is running massive deficits month after month. Absolutely true. If China and other countries spurn U.S. debt, meaning they don't want any more U.S. debt, who's going to fund this borrowing spree? Great question. Federal Reserve, Janet Yellen, they're all talking about it. They're worried about the 34 trillion budget deficit. Talk is going around that this cannot go on because the buyers are stepping away. They don't want dollar-denominated assets because we keep printing and then we keep issuing bonds and we're devaluing our currency and created the inflation and genie as it is. So foreign investors make up about 1/3 of the market for U.S. Treasuries. Okay, you could argue that it's still plenty of capacity in the domestic market. Yes, who's the domestic market, right? Pension plans, 401ks, corporates, obviously. Corporations buy these bonds, right, for their own treasuries, unlike Michael Saylor, who's buying Bitcoin. I mean, there's like CalPERS pension plan is $1.5 trillion, right? So they need to constantly, obviously, shuffle the return by buying U.S. Treasury bonds in their portfolios. But at some point, this musical chairs that we're playing is going to end, and when it ends, it's going to end super badly. I'm not being negative. I'm just giving you guys my opinion of what's happening. And so yeah, Chinese keep selling bonds and buying gold. I mean, I don't know, if Chinese don't think inflation is over, the segment before we talked about soft landing, inflation is going down with low unemployment rate. I don't know. Maybe Chinese don't know what they're doing. But we'll see. We'll see how this is all going to work out. So this is my latest, um, Robinhood, little Robinhood trading account. Last week, I posted it. By the way, please go to the community page of the YouTube channel. I'm going to update my watch list. I'm going to take some off, put some new ones in. I think that's an easier way instead of me going through the charts. Another thing I'm going to do is post this, obviously, which I have over the last 5 weeks. My account is at 2025. I started with 1,000, and actually 2008. 86. So I'm still up 100%. I was as high as 2,300 last week. I think I was down to 1,910. Look, I'm hanging in there. Could I have played the GameStop saga? Could I have tenfold this account? Yeah. But if I didn't sell it last night, where would I be today? Zero. Yeah, I mean, everything is going well. My account, I discussed with you guys in detail last week. My main trading account is up 205% for the year. I'm happy with my returns. I don't want to gamble. If I can make another 50% on the account value that I have until the end of the year. I started with 50. I will end the year at 225. That'll be almost a triple and a quarter. I'm very happy with that. I'm not going to go for more than that. My problem at the moment is I have a negative bias on the market, and it's really difficult for me to commit to things on the long side, but that's okay. I'm doing it as a professional. I have to do it. And so let's get back to our GameStop saga. So here's our GameStop saga. I begrudgingly watched some of it on the way home. This village idiot right here, Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill. 642,000 people were logged into his YouTube account, and his YouTube account gained over 200,000 subscribers overnight. Okay. And I'm dealing with 830 subscribers on my channel. I think I should have 200,000 subscribers opposed to this Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill, right? So let's talk about it. Let's really make this clear to you guys, because there's so much FUD going on about GameStop. I was reading some tweets yesterday. There are a lot of morons out there, I decided, that they claim themselves to be financial people. And their explanations are so sideways, so much bullshit in there that let me explain how this is going to work out. So Keith Gill, who's Roaring Kitty, his social is known in the social media as Roaring Kitty. He did this again in 2000. By the way, he's not a dumb guy. He was an analyst for Mass Mutual for a while. I'm pretty sure he quit that job after he made multiple millions on the first GameStop saga. So what happened is that last Sunday, he tweeted out before the market opened that he has a position of 5 million shares of GameStop stock, okay, that he paid $20 for. That's $100 million right there. I don't know where he got that money, because on the first GameStop saga in 2021, he didn't make that kind of money. So I'm not going to say he has a backer or no backer or whatever. That's not my problem. The thing that blew my mind was that not only he was long 5 million shares of GameStop, the stock itself, which is 100 million. So if you margin it, you need 50 million fully to fund that purchase. Or, because he's shown his account, he showed his position in the account. He's with Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers is not going to lend him more than 50%. I mean, there are outfits out there that will lend you 6-1, 8-1. But let's just say he had the 50 million to buy 5 million shares with full margin. Okay. And the thing that blew my mind was that, we talk about call options, right? Okay. He declared a position of 120,000 call options. Okay. Now, you guys have to understand this. If you guys are reading your books, you know that each call option is worth 100 shares. Okay. represents 100 shares. So 120,000 of the regular June 21 expiration, $20 strike price call options he owns. And he said he bought them on an average price of $5.56 or $5.68. Okay. So let's do the math on that. Okay. So 120,000 call options are equal to 12 million shares of GameStop. Now, there's a lot of idiots out there like him who go, oh, what if he exercises? There's going to be a short squeeze. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. For all the village idiots out there, you guys should be watching me a little bit more, or do your homework before you open your mouths and sound really stupid. There are 327 million shares outstanding in GameStop. They've been issuing shares nonstop. Okay. That's the float. That's the outstanding shares. The float is 272 million shares. Okay. At today's price, let's say, I don't know what it is now, probably 27, 28-ish. At today's price, GameStop company, which is bleeding cash every quarter, losing money, hand over fist, okay, have not made money for a while. The company, let's say the stock is $30 a share, and the float is, outstanding shares are 320 million. Okay, what is that? Figure that out. That's close to $10 billion market capitalization for a company that's bleeding cash every single quarter. Okay, and this village idiot comes out and says, between the stock of 5 million shares and the 120,000 call options that he owns. By the way, these call options are going to expire June 21st, which is 2 Fridays from today. Okay, you bought the regular expiration. Those 120,000 call options not only represent 12 million shares, he paid an average price of $5.68 for those. I just looked it up. $5.68 times 12 million shares that it represents. He needed in cash, you can now margin options. In cash, he needed $65 million in cash to fund that purchase. And it was clear as day, by the way. Somebody was loading up on those. I could see it on my alert ticker because the open interest on the options kept going up. He accumulated 120,000 of those options, right? So a lot of the FUD on the internet is, oh, what if he exercises? Who gives a shit if he exercises and his uncle does it too? There is 300 million shares outstanding. So if he does exercise with his 5 million long shares equity, and if he exercises, that's under the assumption that the stock is above 20 on the third Friday of June. He will own 17 million shares. Now, when you exercise an option, because the reason you're buying a call option is you have the right to purchase the stock at $20 a share from somebody. That's why you buy a call option. You put up a little bit of money, and then you're going to put up the bulk of it when you exercise and you buy the shares. So 12 million shares at $20 will cost them $240 million to come up with to buy these shares. Just like it cost him 100 million on the first 5 million shares equity that he bought at 20. That's 100 million. So 240 million. Does he have that kind of money? I don't know. Does he have a backer as a hedge fund? I don't know. But the problem is that, those are not the issues. The issues is the misinformation that's going around the internet. Now, let's give it a little bit of a color on what this guy went through yesterday and today. The second he announced that on Sunday on Twitter, Monday, the stock opened at 40. Okay. And then it meandered a little bit. And yesterday, after hours, actually during market hours yesterday, he announced that he was going to hold a live stream. Right. Once that happened, stock took off some more. Right. And in after hours, I watched it hit 65. 65. Right. So everybody's getting ready for his live stream, what he's going to say. He calls it YOLO moment. He says it himself. It's not financial advice. Don't follow me. I'm an idiot. He said it many times on the live stream today. And then I was reading some of the chat, Dumb and Dumber came to mind, that movie. People going, oh, GameStop's going to 150, GameStop going to 500. I'm going like, you people are just going to lose money and become bag holders of second time around. But the point is, there's so much misinformation out there, and people don't understand options. People don't understand markets, and they just make commentary, and it makes me laugh. And I'm not the one to correct them. The market corrected it anyway. So then, story, got more interesting. Dave Portnoy, who is, I think, Barstool Sports, is another degenerate gambler. He gambles, on football games and stuff, which is fine. Whatever floats your boat. He got on the bandwagon yesterday. And then on the other side of the story, Andrew Left, who's a famed short seller, he goes like, the second this guy opened his mouth, I started shorting the stock. But then, if he shorted it in the 40s and he was taking a ride to 65, I'm kind of saying that the company actually absolutely kneecapped these people. Okay. I was actually expecting the stock to open at 80 to 100 this morning. Unfortunately, GameStop's earnings were not until next Tuesday, and they early released their earnings. They lost their ass. They lost a shit ton of money. But besides that, they said, we're going to potentially issue 75 million more shares, diluting the existing shareholders. The second that news came out, it completely negated Roaring Kitty's live stream. It ruined it. And look, I'm going to give you the numbers. This may shock you guys. And I don't know how that guy showed up to the live stream, but he did. He's still holding on to this original position, 5 million shares and 120,000 call options. If the stock, however, is $20 or less, okay, third Friday of June, and he does not exercise before then, for which he needs $240 million. Let's say he goes 50% margin, he needs at least $120 million. And he's doing this with the rinky-dink interactive brokers. You guys would think he'd be doing it with Goldman Sachs or some other company that has more availability for him. But anyway, but then, he is the people's man, right? And he's just an icon to a lot of people. And so at 60, let's say, forget 65, make it round numbers, okay? He bought those options that are $5.68, okay? At 60, those options were worth $45 to $47 a piece. Think about this. Now, take 47 or $4,700 because it's 100 shares, right? $4,700 times 120,000. You guys have calculators out there. Let's see how much he was worth, that option position alone. Let's see. 100 and yeah, it's unbelievable. 120,000 times 4,700. His option position alone for those 120,000 calls was worth $564 million at last night's close at $60. So he paid $65 million more for it. He was up $500 million unrealized profit. Okay. Now let's take his stock position, which is easier to calculate. He was long 5 million shares at 20. Stock is at 60. That's another 200 million. So he was up on paper $700 million at 5 p.m. Pacific time last night. Right now, he's still up on the position, by the way. Stock is, I think, is 28. I will check it. I will talk about it. Let's say stock is at 30, right? So his 5 million long shares are worth 150 million. So he's up still 10 points, which is 50 million. And the options that he bought at 568 or 550, let's say, are probably worth about 15 and a half. So it's still up $10 there. So it's still up another 120 million. So overall, on paper, he's still up about 170 million. But to go from zero to up 700 million back to 170 million. Again, 170 million is immense amount of money. Nobody's making fun of this guy. But then the live stream, the gist of the live stream was he believes in the fundamentals of the company while the company issued horrible earnings today. And then they said, yeah, we're going to dilute more. We're going to issue 75, potentially 75 million more shares, right? And I'm going like, okay, let's see where GameStop is. Let's see what's happening. And my I can't fathom being up. If when I'm up $70,000 as opposed to $700 million on a single position, you guys know what's going to happen to that position? Huh? That's going to get trimmed. But let me explain a little bit about also his followers. Okay, his followers are average people who has no clue, who have no business in being in options or the stock market. From the comments, I could see that this morning and yesterday. Comments are flying. Look, his live stream was supposed to go live at 9 a.m. It didn't go until 10 a.m. 642,000 bag holders were watching it. And the second he opened his mouth, people were like, oh my God, is this the guru that I'm following? Right? You guys should go watch it. It's on Roaring Kitty YouTube channel. Go watch the live stream. It's there. You guys make up your own mind. And, he says it clearly. It's a YOLO trade. You only live once trade. That's his style. That's the way he trades. And I'm going like, that's going to take you to the poorhouse. And I'm very sorry for all the 600s or millions of people who last night were thinking of buying. They're in the poorhouse because all the zero DT options that I talked about, zero data expiration options that they were all loading up onto creating the gamma squeeze in GameStop ended very badly, right? It all expired worthless today. The market makers came ahead. The shorts are coming ahead. But again, I don't feel bad for Keith Gill. I think he made quite a bit of money on the first run. But here's the deal. Wall Street is very, 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 very smart, okay? There was a huge difference between what happened last time and this time on GameStop, okay? Last time, the market makers were selling these options, these zero DTE options, or short-term weekly expiration options to these YOLOs with not enough premium, not enough implied volatility. The second GameStop started moving, they moved, which I'm going to show you the option chain on GameStop. They moved, the market makers move implied volatility to over 500% on these things. So even if the stock moved your direction, you're not going to make money. Well, you will a little bit, but not like before, right? And the seller of the options, called selling the premium, absolutely came, made killing on these things, right? And so I feel very bad for the average person who lost his ass. And that's how the ended. And what do we call? Game over, not GameStop. So let me add my screen to. Okay, hope you guys can see this. All right, so here we are. This is GameStop. Right now it's $27.28. Let's put it up. Here's GameStop. This is the daily action. Well, this is the intraday action. If you guys can see it, this is the daily action on GameStop. I mean, look at these moves, right? I mean, is there money to be made here in these 2 days? Absolutely. Because what happened is that stock was like meandering at 10, and then the news came out. His first tweet went to 15, went sideways, and then it just took off, right? First time it went to 65, then crashed to 17. I mean, imagine if you're buying calls going, if you bought calls 25, 30, 35, 40 and stock is 65, you're making fortunes. But then the problem with these guys is that they have the diamond hands, right? They talk about diamond hands. They go, I'm going to hold it forever until it goes to 500. Sirs, madams, things don't work out like that on Wall Street. Anyway, and for all the yahoos out there who says, oh, what if he exercises? Do you guys see the average trading volume when these things were happening on the stock? This is a single day trading volume. Let me quote it for you guys. On May 13th, the volume was 187 million shares in a single day. May 14th, 206 million. Yesterday, 207 million. Today, already at 11:30, 248 million shares. So 12 million is nothing compared to that. And yesterday, by the way, the stock equaled the high in after hours at 65. Did I get involved? No, I don't need it. I'm just trying to hold my shit together without this gambling attitude that everybody has. Again, to finish this story, a lot of people lost their ass, and GameStop is a dead company, dead as a doornail, with no future, unless the management that screwed everybody today, screwed, including Roaring Kitty. And actually, you know what? I'm interested, actually, quite interested. Let's look at Roaring Kitty's position. So he has 5 million shares. Stock is at 28. So he's up $40 million on his stock. Okay. And look at those calls. Let's look at his June 21 calls that he paid $5.68 for each. And these are the regular expiration June 20 calls. Well, let me see. The June 20 calls right now are trading at $10. Okay. And let me give you guys the historical value on June 20 calls. I don't know what to say, man. This call yesterday was worth $45. Today is it worth 10, and he paid $5.68. So 120,000. He's up about 4.5. So he's up another 50 million at this price, at $28 a share. Okay, so he's up about $100 million. But when he went to bed last night, he was up about $700 million. My projection for the stock is it's going to go right back to 20. Hopefully, for his sake, it's not it's not by by the 21st. Hopefully, it's above 20. So maybe he's going to exercise, and if he does exercise, he will own, and under the assumption that he has 120 million or 240 million dollars to buy all those shares, he will be owner of 6.7% of game over stock. Okay, I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. Time will tell, but that's not my concern. My concern was for all the people who lost their ass, and I feel very, 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 very bad about it. Very bad about it. And so, with that said, if you guys have any questions, I'll answer it. In fact, I'll look around to see if there's any trades. For some reason, the market took a really nasty dive here of about 1% while I was talking on the subject. I don't know what happened, but we'll take a look at it. We'll go through our usual kind of few stock list. I'm about to sell my Alibaba, take a loss. See, I'm saying it out loud, take a loss. I don't have any other positions that are relevant, really. So that's GameStop for you guys. Easy come, easy go. I feel very bad. I really do. For all the people who actually needed the money. So let's answer some questions. All right. Highlighted question. Early question. Do you ever deal with markets outside the US? Yeah, I mean, through ETFs and, Alibabas and things like that. I mean, there are ADRs. ADRs is American Depository Receipts, like Alibaba is. Here and there, but I have so much to do here that I really don't have the necessity. Let's see what others. I did through individual stocks, but you have obviously, ETFs that you can trade, just like the SPY and the triple Qs. You have India, you have Japan, you have Korean market. You have stock markets that are great markets around the world. You have the Turkish market, you have the German market, French. Obviously, everybody has their own separate stock markets, but I haven't had the need to do it. Would there be any benefit to being a Palau resident? No, that's a good question, man. I don't know. Megan, I don't know the answer. So if I don't know, I'm going to say I don't know. I know kind of from left field, but I was curious being able to, benefit from any up-and-coming market activity. I don't know, Palau or resident, or you may be saving taxes. I mean, you have to talk to your tax attorney to have a Cayman Islands account, trade tax-free, basically. I'm not giving you tax advice or anybody else or any investment advice, but there are ways you can reduce your capital gains. That's all I'm going to say about that subject. Don't ask me if I'm doing it. I'm never going to divulge that. Next question that Chris highlighted, thankfully, is I'd like to hear your thoughts on a potential FFI short squeeze. Sure, we can take a look at it. That was one of the three: AMC, FFIE, and GameStop. I'm pretty sure it died with everything else today. Let's take a look at FFIE. I mean, it was a penny stock. You know, it went up, I think, 100% or something. Yeah, Faraday Futures. It's still up 7 cents, which is kind of impressive, actually. Yeah, but there is no short position in that. I mean, go look at the market cap and go look at it. I already looked at it because chat was going around. You know, the stock went from 50 cents to 75 cents last few days. And let's see. No, actually, there you go. Okay, well, that ended badly as well. Parabolic ends badly. The stock was, when was this? On May 14th, when all the shenanigans started. It was 50 cents. It went from 50 cents to almost $4. Yeah, almost $4, then crashed. And then now it's back to 56, 60 cents. It already happened. So whoever asked the question, it already took place already. So it's a dead stock. I mean, you know, these penny things that they do take moves. If you're in there while it's moving, please take your money and leave. Don't be these diamond hand holders. Don't be these YOLO guys. Don't do this. Just money is in, you know, I had interviewed this great man, you know, Jack Barugian, 2 interviews. He's on there. You know, a lot of people say it's house money. There is no house money. The freaking money is in your account, man. Just like this roaring kitty idiot, right? You know, he goes, I'm gonna hold on. I'm like, you can hold on until you're blue in the face. Your analysis of the company may be right for long term, but you're buying options. Yes, you have the 5 million shares you can count on always. I get it. This company is dead for now. The management, all they do is dilute shareholders, keep selling shares, and create a war chest to become from a brick and mortar game, you know, gaming center to an online center. There's many competitors, man. I mean, I don't get it. You know, he looked high. He was drinking something. I don't know what the hell. I mean, if you guys are watching that 640,000 of you, maybe you should come watch me a little bit. You guys will figure some few things out. I mean, it just didn't make any sense whatsoever. Joke of all jokes. Yeah, smash the like button, please. Yeah, manipulation to the highest, of course. No other questions? Let's see. Diamond hands means you left holding bags. Absolutely correct. This is a great comment right here. You know, I don't know. All these new terms, man. Diamond hands this, YOLO that. Come on, man. We're in the stock market. What's wrong with you people? You know, I mean, Wall Street is a little smarter. Give them some credit. But anyway, this time they were ready. BTC dumped a little too. Yeah, I know. I mean, look, I mean, BTC, I still like the chart. It's going sideways, you know, between 70 and 72. Megan, there is a massive, massive, close to $51 billion worth of short position on derivatives in BTC. If BTC takes out 72, closes above 72, I think it's on its way to 80 in a very, very short order because they're all going to get liquidated right about 72 and a half. It's going to create immense buying pressure. I like this consolidation that it's going through. You know, it went up from 40 to 70. It's been going between 73 and 60, consolidating for almost 3 months now. Most of these consolidation patterns are continuation patterns going up. I think it's going to resolve upside. I've got 500 shares of FFI. Okay, this is a good lesson right here. All right, I got 500 shares of FFI, bought at 52 cents a share, planning on selling 714 weekly calls with $1 strike price. Why? Why didn't you sell it at 350? Or did you just buy it? I don't know. I mean, if you bought it at 50 cents and that thing hit 350 and you didn't sell it, why would you even deal with calls on a 50-cent stock? I'm not sure. I think it's dead money. But I'm sorry if you didn't see. I'm glad you bought it, but I'm very sorry that you didn't sell it if you did it before. If you just bought it, that's a different question. I wouldn't just wait for another pop, maybe till 75 cents, take your money, go. I can't deal with penny stocks. What other questions? So Keith Gill, Roaring Kitty, looked pretty insane. I mean, the guy had 700 million unrealized gains. He's still up 150 million as of the second. But he was completely relaxed. I would have shot myself. Well, I wouldn't have let it happen, but didn't buy it that soon. Okay, sorry to hear that. Just bought it. Okay, yeah, you don't sell call options. Just wait for a pop. If there's a pop, Just get rid of it, man. Don't buy 50-cent stocks. There's many of those. I look for the 3-8 daily crossover, but these positions aren't working extremely well. Yeah, it is kind of crazy, Megan. I mean, look, we talked about oh, okay. That's a great question right here. I'm going to start talking about that. I subscribe to two outfits. One is called stockcharts.com. Very cheap, like 23 bucks a month. Amazing information. You can set up your filters. The way my filters are, I like to buy high, sell higher, or I like these patterns that you can actually code yourself, and it's very easy. You just put it in English, and then it spits out these ideas for you. And what it does is also it looks at relative strength to market, right? Even when the market's going down, there are stocks that are making new all-time highs, 52-week highs, because there is the rotation in the market, right? And it finds them for you. So it's called stockcharts.com. Highly recommend. And I've been an IBD member, in an Investors Business Daily member. That's a little bit more expensive. It's like 60 bucks a month. But for what I'm doing, extremely well worth it. So I urge you guys to look into it. I'm sure they both give you some free memberships. Go take a tour and take a look at it. Those are the two that give me the ideas. The other thing that gives me the ideas, do you guys see this rolling? I don't know what to call it actually, but I'm pretty sure you guys are seeing it. Where my cursor is on the lower right hand side of my screen, right under the CNBC screen. Do you guys see the greens and reds and then highlighted reds, right? And the highlighted greens, right? So this is my live scanner. It's giving me ideas, like it's telling me at this moment right here, EMN. I don't even know what that is. EMN is making, Eastman Chemical is making an all-time high. It's telling me, or a 52-week high. And sure enough, look at this beautiful stock that it just spits out for me, right? Beautiful uptrend. It's making a 52-week high while the market's kind of struggling. It's breaking out today. That's my live scanner. That's proprietary. You're not going to be able to buy that. But if you go into stockcharts.com or Investors Business Daily, IBD, you will definitely, it's well worth the money. I mean, at my account size, it's nothing. It's well worth the money, but I have my own systems that scans for those things anyway. But it's like a backup, right? I mean, why be short of ideas? And then the other one that was making a new low, see, it gives me long and short ideas. That EMN was on the upside, and FNA was a short idea, and then that's making a 52-week low. See two extremes. A stock, Paragon 28, it's called. I have no idea what it is. But do you see this? Okay, not everything goes up because market's going up. Look at this downtrend on the stock. It's called Paragon 28 Inc. Have no idea what they do, but it's been in a massive downtrend. It's making a 52-week low today while market's at a all-time high. You guys see what's happening here, right? You guys have to find these underperforming stocks and outperforming stocks. EMN is outperforming the market, or going at least with the market. It's making an all-time high, while this one is making an all-time low, or a 52-week low anyway, right? So if you own this stock, who gives a hell, right? If the S&P 500 is making new high, or triple Qs are making new high every single day, who cares? Nobody cares, right? You just have this stock. You don't own the stock market. That's why passive investing always will beat active investing, unless you're me or a few other people, select people. And so this is the live scanner that I see. I like it. It's my proprietary that I took when I left Wall Street. And as of the moment, GameStop has traded 251 million shares. It's $27.91. I wish, Keith Gill, Roaring Kitty, the best. I feel very bad for the people who are involved. Let's go through the market and my charts, and I'll answer more questions. As I said, the Friday edition is going to go longer. I mean, today was an anomaly. Okay, the reason is because my son's thing was happening. So sorry. And then, okay, Sergio, will you ever share your settings or walk us through your thought process for scanning? I just did. High-low scanner, yeah, it's a high-low scanner, but it's a little bit more elaborate than that. It's a live scanner. I mean, you can probably get software that's out there for that. Check out U, that's underlying has been murdered. U, is that the stock U? Let's see. Let's take a look at you. Sorry, you. Unity software. Yeah, another beauty, making lower lows. I mean, he should have been short the stock. Garbage. Market's making new highs. Stock is making all-time new lows. I mean, what else is there to say? Garbage. Like, look at this thing. Going back 3 years to the pandemic, this was a $210 number. Now it's 17. It's making 52-week lows. If you own the stock, you have cancer. I mean, God forbid, no, but mentally anyway. Pocket cancer, to say the least. I mean, look, man, if you're short, all power to you. Be short, right? I'm going to start talking about this next week, next Friday. How to short things, how to buy puts on these things. You can make money on the way down too. You don't need to just wait and buy low, sell high. You can sell high, buy lower. I'm telling you, I make more money on the short side than I make on the long side. No ifs and buts, because things will go down a lot faster. I'm going to go through one more couple of questions, and then I'll go through the market and answer questions. Yes, see, Ayn Rando. I'm trying to look at the legality of that. More like an investment club, right? And I'm going to trade. Like, we are going to put money in it. Somebody puts 500, somebody puts 2,000, somebody puts 1,000. We get money, and then we'll close it. No more new money comes in, right? It's like a hedge fund. But I'm going to trade it, right? And nobody else will. And then proceeds will go out. I don't know. Then I have to have 10Ks probably. I see, that's the legality of it, the accounting of it. I don't know. I'm going to research it. Just set up a Discord server, use a Discord. Yeah. Okay. Well, keep that 5K in your pocket. Yeah, I'm looking into it. I'm really looking into how to do these things properly. Okay. And yeah. Anyway, but yeah. The other thing is I'm looking at is create like a subscription texting service that the second I'm transacting, text goes out to the subscribers that they get my trades. Yeah, people do it. I know, Megan. I don't know how they do it. I'm going to check into it. I'm going to look into it. Let's go through the market a little bit. If you guys don't have any questions, if you think of questions, please come up with it. See, there's like 21 of you here. Roaring Kitty had 621,000 of them. But then the second he started opening his mouth, people were like, oh my God, is this the guy I was listening to? I'm like, yeah, that's the dude. Anyway, I feel bad. I really feel bad. I'm sorry. I don't want to laugh. But then I wish, look, all I can say is I wish the party lasted just for another 6 hours, because I was so ready at 500 IV sell volatility to these idiots, village idiots. Stock is 65. Yesterday, June 21 expiration, 125 calls were trading at $6. $6. Think about it. You guys think they hit the wall already? I was just hoping for an open at 65 to 80, and I'll just sell premium like nobody's business and buy the puts. Did not happen. So I'm kind of mad that I missed all of it, but then I'm not mad that I missed it for the fact that, I mean, on the first short run, stock went from 20 to 400, by the way. So, shit happens, shorts get burned. I stay out of it. I'm happy with my 205%. So this is the triple Qs. Trend is your friend, people. Don't question the market. New highs. What else is there to say? I don't know. I had a little swoon, which I made. That was last Friday. I made some money on the short side. Other than that, I don't know what to say. Trend is up. Don't mess with it. There's NVDA. Trend is up. I have my support lines drawn. If it pulls back, I'll be a buyer. It's going to go through the split on the 10th, by the way. I'm kind of thinking it's going to go down a little bit. It always does. And let me show you why. Here, let me show you why that happens. Okay, Tesla. Okay. I'm going to pull back a couple of years. And Tesla had 2 splits. Okay. That I can recall. And I'm going to show you guys what happened after splits. Here's the first split. You guys see where my cursor is at right here? I'm circling it. Kind of a third of the way from the left. See where it says this SP right here, up there, SP split. So the price of the stock, when it split at that time, went from 167 in a matter of 4 days to 111. That's like almost like a 50% correction after the split. So they buy it before the split, sell it after the split. I don't know why it goes up before the split when they announce it. No idea why, but that's the gamification that we have these days. And here's the second split. And this one was a swoon. Here's the second split right here. I'm circling. This was a 3-4-1 split. And this one was a 5-4-1 split. NVDA was doing a 10-4-1 split, right? And here was the last split on 8/25/2022 on Tesla. And split happened. Stock was 320-ish. It hit about 105 about a month and a half later, 2 months later. So, split's not everything. My thing with Tesla is, I mean, it's a very interesting situation happening here, going back to 2020. You guys see this little wedge that it's kind of squeezing itself into? I'm highlighting the upper end and the lower end. There's no joke that it came in the lower end, bounced. Now it's creating this pennant, another pennant right here. I'm highlighting it for you guys. Look, I'm expecting a big move in Tesla coming up. One way or the other, I'm going to participate in it. If it's up, it'll be up. If it's down, it's down. But the bigger issue is, you guys see this wedge that is squeezing itself into. I'm highlighting the upper channel and the lower channel. I mean, this is just getting squeezed. At some point, this thing is going to either break above it and absolutely go bonkers, or break below it and absolutely go bonkers to the downside. So I will wait. I'm a patient man. 3 P's, remember? Patience, position, and planning. I showed you guys the triple Q's. Let's look at TLT. TLT broke finally out of the channel. Let's pull him back today to my channel. Here's TLT. Remember, I've been talking about, this is the 10-year inverse treasury note, 20-year inverse treasury note. Here's the channel that it's been in for months. Finally, 3 days ago, broke out. Next level of resistance, obviously, is going to be at the 200-day line, where I highlighted the light blue. And today's unemployment, the bond market did not like. The job market is hotter than it expected. So it's pulling back to the breakout line, which is very normal. The failure is going to be not holding this channel and not holding the 20-day and the 50-day that I'm highlighting right here. So interesting things are developing in the bond market. If it breaks out the 200-day to the upside, which it hasn't done for a while, the lower rates may be coming. And I said it before, I'm going to say it again. When the Fed starts cutting rates, that's the day the market tops. But when that will happen, I don't know. That's the TLT, AMD. This stock is squeezing sideways, people. Are you guys watching this? Here's AMD. It's in my, by the way, I'm going to put all these on my community page, as well as my little trading account results up until 9 a.m. this morning. Go visit the community page. And I'm also putting up some polls there, which are really, really cool polls. So I like to get the pulse of you guys. Here's the 20-day highlighted. Here's the 50-day right here. What is this pattern called, right? So we kind of went up. We're going sideways. It's either a consolidation pattern, or it's a top that it's going to break down from. And here are the lines that I can draw easily. Here's the resistance line, right here. And here's the support line. I mean, if you're buying and selling AMD now, it's not the time. Here's the support line at 159, and here's the resistance line at 174. It's just going back and forth. Whichever way it breaks is the way it's going to go. Patience, just like here, people. Do you see this is exactly the almost same pattern right here? Let me just draw these lines. Here's the support line. Here's the resistance line. And what happened to AMD when it broke out? It went from 185 to about 220 in about 4 days. Those are the moves. Those are the swing trading moves. Those are the position trading moves that you guys want to follow, right? Don't be a jockey. Don't be in between, back and forth, back and forth. Who gives a shit? But what you guys need to do, have patience. Wait for the move to happen. to the upside or to the downside. It has plenty of room to the upside if it breaks out, and has plenty of room to the downside if it breaks down. I showed you guys Tesla. What else? I'm kind of getting curious about JP Morgan. It's kind of double topping here, but not much to say about it at the moment. Microsoft is doing well, all-time highs or really close to it. To me, they all have the same look, toppy look. All these, fab Magnificent Seven. They all are kind of struggling here. The RSI is struggling. Next week, please remind me to talk about bullish and bearish divergences. Let's look at some of the charts that I'm following. U is horrible. FNA is horrible. Let's eliminate that. EMN is a good chart. GameStop, we talked about it, is 27.69. For this guy's sake, hopefully stock is above 20 so we can exercise and buy those shares. Let's talk a little bit about actually Alibaba. It's down 173 today. I don't like the action. I'm long the July 80 calls that I'm down about 27% on, but the calls, not the stock. But my line is going to be drawn right at here. I'm not liking it. RSI is kind of giving up, making lower lows. I may even take a loss on it today, but that's okay. Can't win it all. MicroStrategy, pretty decent reversal today. Bitcoin must be selling off. Had an amazing move, 1,000 to about 1,700. I mean, great move. Resistance has been found here now. Here's the line. Here's the resistance line right here. Okay, well, next time it breaks through that, it's going to go higher. I mean, there's no genius to draw these lines. You guys are hopefully drawing these lines on your own comfortably. And here's the support, right? And the support kind of coincides with the 50-day average. Pretty simple trade, really. Whichever way it breaks is going to be that. Next one. Coinbase is an interesting looking chart. Pretty nice. Broke the downtrend. You guys should have been all over it at 220. It's about 250 now or 247. But then there are some really, really interesting charts that are developing. This stock I like a lot. Bloom Energy. It's pulling back the first line of support about 15. High was 18 on high volume. 50-day is breaking through the 200-day. 200-day is turning up. Everything is going right with this. Pulling back on absolutely low volume, lower right-hand corner. I actually probably start buying it right about 15 here, 14 and a half, 15. Give it a first crack. The second buy is going to be about 13 and a half, right at the 50-day average. And then if you look at the longer term, stock is breaking out, no question. And I like the chart. There's nothing to say. There's another one. Billy is another one. It's going to be okay, you remember, guys, we were talking about this. There's a head and shoulder. We talked about it, right? Technical analysis. Here's the left shoulder. Here's the head. And here's the right shoulder with the neckline right here. If that breaks that, sayonara to Billy. It's one of my favorites. Used to be one of my favorites. Is Albemarle. Still watching. Testing the lower end support. If you're interested, it stopped exactly in the 3-year downtrend. Turn back down. Support at 110, 111. If you want to give it a crack back to 125, you're more than welcome to. I'll probably do it. End phase. Rolling over today. Let's look at First Solar. A lot of things got hit while Roaring Kitty. Here's one. Okay, here we go. Okay, what does this look like to you guys? Right? I mean, we'll end with this. Does this look like a flag pattern? Does it? Absolutely does, right? On huge volume, here's your flag pole. Okay, watch my cursor, right? And it's building a flag, and here's your flag. Right here. There's that. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. Here's the flag right here, people. If that doesn't look like a flag to you guys, I don't know what it looks like. And right here, flag, pennant, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's going back and forth. It's a flag pattern. Flag pattern. How the flag patterns end up resolving? Just like this one right here. That will resolve with upside action. So keep watching it. On the breakout, you should be all over First Solar. So yeah. Anyway, GameStop at 2760. Market's kind of selling off for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Um, Nothing to do really. It was an okay week for me. I really didn't overtrade. Remember, I thought I cursed myself out last week that I revenge traded, and actually, I mean, I ended up making like 10 grand, but it was like on so much overtrading, garbage. I'm gonna work on my best setups and size up on those as opposed to just Oh, Carvana was one of my favorites. Remember, you guys talked about that. I actually traded that out of it today. If you guys bought it, please sell it. It was a good trade on the first pullback to 50-day. We talked about it to about 100. I bought the July 100 calls at $8. I sold them at 12 and a half today. So that was a good, money maker. It stopped exactly where it should stop, like it did here last time. So I'm out, so you guys know. I'm very nervous about the market. I'm taking these like singles now, as opposed to hitting home runs. If the market rolls over, it's going to be ugly, but I will definitely buy puts on the market. And when I see the opportunity. So with that said, much love to you all. Let me get back. Let's see if there is any final questions. All right. Okay, let's see. Hi, okay. When do you buy calls? You treat the trade using a stop according to the chart or the price option, or you look at the chart? I look at the chart first. There's a good question. Where's the community page? So when you go to the YouTube channel, on top, there's one thing called a row. On the row, it will say videos, shorts, live, and then keep scrolling to the left. Or swipe to the left. It'll be the last one. It'll say community. That's where you'll see the community page. Why is NVDA splitting? I don't know. Company made that decision. Lyft stocks. Okay, let's take a look at Lyft. I think dead man's EKG, man. No, nothing there. Ask ChatGPT. Yeah, I'm ChatGPT. Let's see. Lyft. They had their first conference or investor call yesterday. All the executives were in New York City. Nothing really. Just going sideways. That's why I guess the big move was yesterday. Nothing, just going sideways into support right at the 200-day. I don't know. If you have to buy it about 15 and a half, which is right about where it's at. Your risk is about 15. If it goes under the 200-day, you're out. So you're risking, I don't know, 3-4%. If it goes back to 20, you make some money. I don't know. These stocks are not my cup of tea, really. I need faster movers, higher beta stocks in order to trade options on. Because my attitude sucks right now about the market. I don't know. I have a really bad feeling. I'm also a gut trader. My gut's not telling me good things. First was good, but second, oof. I don't know what that means. Why is NVDA splitting? Company thinks it's proper to do so and get the stock in many more hands, right? How many people can buy NVIDIA at 1,200, but more people can afford to buy it, or more investor groups can buy it at 120. So, where's the community page? Okay, there's a couple more questions. Okay, yes. Good question. When you buy calls, do you treat the trade using a stop according? Yeah, I buy the proper calls first of all. We will talk about that. Which calls decided to buy? Obviously, the lowest implied volatility. You have to check if there is earnings. You have to kind of figure out how much of a move and how fast are you expecting. There's no reason for you to go buy 3-month out calls on a stock that you're expecting it to move 10% in 4 days, right? You're not going to gain much. The bigger gainer is going to be on the shorter end. You don't have to pay that kind of premium on the long end of the options. The other thing that you have to look at though, if something is just breaking out, right? And I showed you guys a lot of those breakouts, right? When it's just breaking out at the 200-day You're going to hold it for a couple, 3 months. Yeah, then go buy the 3-month, 4-month out options. It depends on what I'm expecting the stock to do. Okay. And when you buy calls, do you treat the trade using? Yeah, I don't even look at the price of the options, right? I look at the stock, I set my parameters on the stock, and then when those parameters are hit, I'm in, I'm out, or I'm stopped out, and then I will sell the calls or the puts that I'm in. I definitely look at the chart. Chart rules. Price of the options never rules for me. How important is the company news when assessing? Absolutely important. Those are called catalysts. Catalysts are important, man. Look at the catalyst on NVIDIA, okay? Stock was $980. Earnings came out. They blew it out. Issued a 10-for-1 split. In 4 days, stock went from 980 to 1250. That's another 25%. I mean, of course it is. That's why I call myself a techno-fundamentalist. I watch technicals, and you have to listen to fundamentals. Look, picture is worth 1,000 words. If NVIDIA's earnings were bad, do you think stock would be doing what it's doing? So the earnings, the success of the company is in the chart, right? You have to look at that. And fundamentals are always important on underlying fundamentals, always important on a stock chart, because it's telling you a story. It's going from the lower left-hand corner to the upper right-hand corner. It's important. Absolutely is. How's the Robinhood? Good. It's going good. I posted it like $2,010, up 100%. I'm kind of struggling trading that account. I really am. Look, I don't want to blow it. I don't want to cheat it as like the meme boys do, just swing options and either have it go to 0 or go to 20,000 in a month. I want to apply the steady and slow like I have with my actual trading account. But then I'm not allowed to do a lot of things in there. Like I cannot day trade, but I don't do it anyway. Options are so expensive these days that I can only buy one single option on something, right? It's really difficult. And so yeah, I'm not going to add money or take money, but I'm happy with 100%. I'll grow it slowly. Hopefully it'll end up where my actual account is. My actual account was up, as I showed you guys, 205%. If I end the year, at 200% or so on that small account, I'm very happy. So I jumped really quick on it in like 3 really trades and doubled it. And now I'm just kind of holding water or treading water, as they say, not holding water. I shouldn't be holding water. So yeah, that's where we are. That's where the market is. Look at Megan, man, I gotta interview you about some underwater welding report work. How do you do that? She's tough, bro. She's from Louisiana. She's tough. Thank you, Aang. I'm like 80% cash, as you should be. There is opportunities, you just gotta find them. I sold puts on snow and took a big loss last week, so I'm not over trading. Snowflake. Yeah, earnings were not good on that. Let me see. Sold puts. Yeah, that's dangerous. I don't know. If you're up $100, no, I'm more than if I was on the Robinhood again. If I was less than $100, I wouldn't be impressed. Yeah, I don't know about those spreads. You can put on spreads after you enter a position successfully. You can do calendar spreads, vertical spreads, all kinds of things. But spreads also keep you in good trades, but spreads also have a tendency of keeping you in bad trades. So if you're gonna be right, you're right. If you're gonna be wrong, you're wrong. So take it like it is. That's all I can say. All right, so we did this. Let's see, an hour and a half, pretty good. Feel very bad for all the 642,000 people who were watching Keith Gill live. Stock is 27 and 30 from the background that I can see. I sure hope for his sake those options don't expire worthless. If he does, he's the biggest fucking idiot on the planet. 700 million to nothing. I mean, seriously, Mr. Gill, I know you're not going to watch this, but if a word gets to you that I'm talking shit about you, I'm not. What I'm talking to you is, as a 30-year experienced veteran trader, your hypothesis on the fundamentals of the stock versus what the position you took is incorrect, sir. You have a long-term view, unless you're going to exercise, but then how do you know if the stock is going to be above 20? You probably should have exercised already. Do you have the $240 million? I don't know. If that's your goal, that you build a massive long-term position in GameStop, you truly believed in the company, I understand. But the people who are following you are not long-term players, Mr. Gill. They are short-term jockeys, and they all got burned. They all are bag holders as of today. So those are the people I worry about. You're fine. You know, you'd make good money on the first run around. The second run around, it'll turn out the way it's turned around. All I'm telling you is when people follow people, I just wish they put some thought into it as opposed to treat this like gambling. Although a lot of people say, Sergio, isn't this gambling anyway? Not the way I do it, really. I don't feel that way. Is the way the GameStop boys are doing is a gambling? Absolutely is. And, you know, they lost this one. I mean, look, there have been winners. The stock went from 10 to 60, back to 15, and back to 65 last night in a matter of weeks. If you got in and out at the right time, you did good. But 98% of the comments that I was reading was diamond hands, we're going to hold to forever, we're going to go 500. I'm like, why? I mean, it's easy money. It's probably more than the money you guys made all year working at the company. So to me, I'm sorry. If you know, Keith, if you want to come on the show, I'll interview you, buddy. I'll interview you on Insiders of Wall Street. So anyway, you guys all have a great weekend. Be safe. I will see you guys next Friday. Bye now.